What up, now? I'm Jalen Jacoby. And on the cool check-in.
Together, we are Jalen Jacoby.
What do? We get the people! What they want. Well, the people of Cleveland that are behind you supporting our program and the Cleveland Cavaliers might have been able to see the loss in Game 3 last night coming. There were reports and videos all over the internet of a gigantic L being carried into the Quicken Loans Arena before the game. We took a closer look at who was carrying that L. Look at that. It's Draymond and Kevin Durant before the game, just helping everybody out that works at the facility by delivering the gigantic L to Cleveland. Jalen Rose, do you expect this series to end in a sweep on Friday night? And remember, you're surrounded by Cleveland Cavaliers fans as you answer this question. Uh-oh.
Well, I'm going to show you something that the Cleveland Cavaliers fans may not like.
Uh-oh. Do you think this will end in a sweep?
Wednesday night, you got a chance to see a wake. On Friday night, you're going to see the funeral. And unfortunately for Cavs fans, it may be also the final time you see LeBron James in the Cavs uniform.
Oh, wow, you're doubling down now. You're just crushing dreams right now. Well, Steph Curry was
I hate to deliver that news, but, man, it hurts.
Steph Curry was 3 for 16 from the field. Klay Thompson only scored 10 points, but it was Kevin Durant who carried the Warriors to the Game 3 victory. After the game, LeBron James was asked about the roster of the Warriors, the makeup of the team, and here's what he had to say.
That's a challenge, and and that's why they retooled this team, went out and got KD to where there's really not much pressure on, I don't want to say any of them to score, but if one of them have a bad game, then they got 3 or 4 guys that can actually pick up, the load.
Well, this is interesting now because originally the first 2 games it seemed like Steph Curry was carrying most of the load for scoring and, being the catalyst of their offense. Game 3, obviously Kevin Durant dominated. It doesn't seem like the series is in question, but there is something still in question. The Finals MVP. Do you think it comes down to whoever plays better in Game 4 between Steph and KD will end up with the Finals MVP?
I do, and LeBron has put up some gaudy statistics, no question about it, even a triple-double in Game 3. But who wins Finals MVP is going to be determined in Game 4. If Steph and/or KD is able to get like 35 or 40, they will be Finals MVP. That's what they're playing for at this point. That's the intrigue. Who's going to win MVP between those 2 guys?
All right, Jalen Rose, I like to give some crackpot theories. I'm a LeBron James stan. Can you see a world in which LeBron James goes off again in Game 4 and they end up stealing that one at home? It ends up like last year where they win Game 4 and it's a gentleman's sweep. But LeBron James is so dominant through those 5 games that he's actually awarded the Finals MVP. Is there a hypothetical world in which you can see that happening?
No. You can't give somebody Finals MVP if they get swept or lose in 5. It just can't go down like that because there's some players on the other team that's putting in work that's actually beating you. And the way KD shot them boys down with 43 points in last night's game, in particular that 3 on the left side with 50 seconds to go, he shot that from Akron and he knocked it down. I felt like it was going to be a long summer for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Do you know what I love more than an NBA player celebrating after a big shot? Is an NBA player not celebrating at all after a big shot. There's something that's just so cold about hitting that 3 and then acting like nothing happened at all. I love that from KD. Let's go back to the beginning of the game, the first quarter when things look great for the Cavs, and there's this LeBron James dunk. We all know what I'm talking about, the up fake, the step through, up fake, JaVale McGee step through, throws it to himself, and alley-oops to himself. Jalen Rose, this to me is a microcosm of LeBron James' entire Finals experience. I can't pass to y'all, so now I'm going to pass to myself and give myself an assist to score. Do you think that is a fair evaluation of that play?
I think it's a fair evaluation. It was a terrific athletic move. But when I watch it closer, you start with a left pivot. Before you toss the ball, you lift your foot. You jump off of the right one. That's a travel. In any playground, that's what that's called. Look, he literally starts with 1. and he jumps off the other one. That's normally called a travel. And I know the officials who found themselves with their Twitter fingers during the game yesterday trying to be a sideshow, I bet that's something that they eventually change in the rule book.
Jalen, only you can find the negativity in that play. Only you could point out, well, technically, I think it's a travel. He might have dragged his pivot foot a little bit after he stepped through JaVale McGee. Come on, Jalen. He threw the basketball off the backboard and threw an alley-oop to himself in the NBA Finals. And you're going to sit here and talk about maybe he traveled? Didn't look like a travel to me. Sounds like someone's being a little bit of a Cleveland Cavalier hater there in Cleveland when you're surrounded by Cleveland Cavalier fans. Jalen, I thought you gave the people what they want. Sounds like you are not giving the people what they want there in Cleveland. LeBron James wasn't the only NBA legend that failed last night on the floor of the Quicken Loans Arena. We have some sad news. Take a look at Red Panda in her halftime performance. The legend Red Panda goes down! Jalen, what does this mean? I don't know what this means. Does this mean that the NBA will fail to exist next season? Will Red Panda ever bounce back? Will Red Panda, like LeBron James, potentially leave the NBA and go to a new land to perform? What does Red Panda falling off her bicycle mean for the NBA moving forward?
Well, she stuck the landing. She landed on 2 feet. That was really impressive to fall from that distance. But I blame Paul Pierce. 5 seconds before she took the court, Paul was over there talking to her, trying to get her to do a couple of tricks in the back, taking pictures of her and all of that stuff. He messed up her preparation. So when she took the floor and she fell, that's the first thing that came to mind. And I said that to him because I was surprised to see her fall as well.
I love that you're taking us behind the curtain because there's nothing I love more than Paul Pierce, NBA Hall of Famer, just being like, oh, Red Panda, can you throw a ball in the air and catch it for me? Let me get that for the IG story. Like, oh, Red Panda, do you mind taking this picture for me?
Yeah, that's what he was doing. Like, oh, can I see you practice? Can I get you on my IG story?
She needs to be focused. Come, now we know the secret. Paul Pierce ruined Red Panda's career. Coming up next on Jalen and Jacoby, now that it seems like this series is a wrap, we will have some unfounded, irresponsible speculation about where LeBron James will play next season.
Mr. Met was walking off through a tunnel. He felt like he was off wax, and a fan gave him a little bit of lip, and he turned around, held down 3 of his 4 fingers. In Mr. Met's defense, I ask you a simple question. If you have 4 fingers, can you give a fan the middle finger?
I don't think so.
Thank you, Mr. Rose. Mr. Met, get at us. We are the law firm of Rose and Jacoby. We'll represent you for free in whatever proceedings needed. And also, it just goes to show, Mr. Met, you are never off wax.
Tune in Friday night for Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Will it be LeBron James' final game in a Cleveland uniform? Before that, at 8:30, don't forget you can watch Jalen in a suit on NBA Countdown. You can also catch Jalen and the Get Up crew every single morning at 7 a.m. They'll be covering the finals, and they'll have A-Rod in studio on Friday. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Rose, it certainly doesn't seem like we're going to get the competitive NBA Finals that we all wanted. So now, we turn our attention to the real NBA season, which is the off-season. We have some unfounded, irresponsible speculation about free agent LeBron James, and there's an update. It doesn't get much more unfounded and irresponsible than this. Pete Zayas was on the Under the Bus podcast, and he said the following quote, I do think they're going to get Paul George. I think they're going to get LeBron, too. I think that both guys are coming. I had 4 different sources in the entertainment industry, none of them being basketball people, that have said that LeBron is coming. He's had to put X, Y, and Z in motion from a marketing standpoint. Well, Mr. Pete Zayas has already kind of walked this back, saying that he was just, gossiping and saying some rumors. Jalen, do you think that potentially LeBron James has already had to put some things in motion regarding marketing, and that he will end up on the Lakers with Paul George, and all orchestrated by the Hall of Fame mogul Magic Johnson? Could you see that happening next season?
I wouldn't be surprised if he left. I would be a little saddened for the people of Cleveland. Here's why. LeBron James has become an iconic figure on the basketball floor, but he's a beacon in the community. And I know he's a 3-time champion, a future Hall of Famer, and one of the greatest basketball players of all time. But for public consumption, I appreciate the fact I've seen LeBron responsibly and respectfully be a son, a husband, a dad, a philanthropist, a mogul. And to me, while chasing championship glory is awesome, and he did have a terrific season and seems to add things to his game, I don't want to see mercenary LeBron. I don't want to see him next year with Houston or Los Angeles or in Phoenix trying to chase a ring and get knocked out by the Golden State Warriors anyway. I'd rather see him in Cleveland, and if you want to play with Paul George, have him come to the land and run with him.
Yeah. I like that.
Don't go
and so
to
do the people
Los
behind
Angeles.
Well, Jalen, you know I'm an irresponsible member of the media, so I read way too into things. I'm about to do that regarding LeBron and where he's going to play next year. Take a look at this photo of the gigantic mural billboard of LeBron James. We're all witnesses of his championship. But up above this photo, you will see that there is a workers' platform. Jalen Rose, are they getting ready to take down this billboard, preparing for LeBron James's exit?
Well, you got to prepare for the inevitable, and a lot of things are going to change in this city, in this state, if LeBron James decides to leave. Not only on the basketball floor, but economically. There's so many business and so much commerce that takes place when your professional basketball teams are successful, and if you have an iconic player on your roster like LeBron James. So for them, I wouldn't be mad for them preparing, because if he does an announcement, if he does leave, then they have to move on accordingly.
Well, our colleague and one of the greatest media personalities on the planet, Stephen A. Smith, he was involved in some of the unfounded, irresponsible speculation about free agent LeBron yesterday when he said that he had heard that LeBron James and the Golden State Warriors would have a conversation this offseason about potentially working together. KD was asked about this by USA Today, and here's what he said, quote, "But how I feel if we would get a meeting with LeBron James, I mean, that's not... I've been trying to separate myself from the front office and those decision makers for a long time, so that's not on me to do it." Jalen Rose, do you think the Warriors would be interested in LeBron James, and do you think that the Warriors players would feel a certain way even if there was a conversation, let alone actual action?
The Warriors are not a realistic landing spot for LeBron James, and I like that we called this block irresponsible, unspeculated news about the free agency of LeBron James, because this is just the headline that falls underneath that category. There is no world that will see LeBron James as a member of the Golden State Warriors. And when they talk about strength in numbers, which is their motto, you're going to have to gut your entire team to pay LeBron James. I think the one thing people are sleeping on is he wants to get a maximum deal at this point of his career. And I wouldn't be surprised if he stays in the league long enough in hopes to get a chance to be there if and when his son is able to make the NBA.
So, Jalen, I heard you say that on the Podfathers podcast as well, but you did not cite where you originally got that concept, which is one David Jalen Jacoby. Now, I know we steal from each other, Jalen, but come on now. You know that's a Jacobyism right there. I predicted that LeBron James will stay in the league until he plays on the same team as his son, and that will be his final year, and then he will transition into ownership. We're going to transition away from more unfounded, irresponsible
I definitely stole that from you, Jacoby.
I know you did.
That's what happens when you took my Larry Bird picture. You want to put KRS-One up. I didn't thumb wrestle you for those. I'm going to steal a term from Bill, pre-agency. That's what you're going to see from Kawhi Leonard.
Now this is unfounded, irresponsible speculation about me stealing things from you, Jalen Rose. Coming up next on Jalen and Jacoby, we learned some insight about how the Mexican soccer team is preparing for the World Cup, and it has nothing to do with soccer. We'll explain after this.
Rose, I have an announcement. It's been coming, but I just wanted to confirm for you.
Yes, you're leaving the show. Michael Rappaport, the Lions. Is the Podfather coming back? Yes. You have too many kids. You prepare too much. And all of a sudden you focused on a marathon. You want to play basketball all the time. You want to run 15 miles. You want to stroll in here 5 seconds before the show? Yes! I never thought this day was coming. And I want to do like Kelly Ripa. It's not going to be nobody else named on the show. It ain't going to be Kelly and Regis. It ain't going to be Kelly and Michael. It's just going to be
Jalen.
Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Rose, the World Cup will be upon us in just 7 days. And Mexico is getting ready in a very interesting way. They had a little warm-up game against Scotland on Saturday, and then after the game, they held a little party. The party allegedly involved about 30 prostitutes. Even more interesting, when asked about this, the General Secretary of the Mexican Football Federation, Guillermo Cantu, said this, quote, "A free day is a free day, and those are the risks that one runs with freedom." Jalen Rose, what do you think about the freedom that has been given to the Mexican soccer team?
All adults had a choice to participate or not. They chose their professions. They were giving a pre-World Cup party, and if that's how they chose to celebrate, I support it in all facets of entertainment and sports. Why not?
Well, we reported last week that Germany, their head coach has told them that they must abstain from sex, alcohol, and social media. However, the Mexican Federation seems to be taking a different approach. Which approach do you think is more successful in the way that they treat their athletes?
Oh, I think the Mexican approach. I think if you're telling your athletes not to have sex, I think that's not going to allow them to have that level of freedom of expression that those will have when you celebrating with 30 prostitutes and they can have all of the sex that they want.
All right, before we get fired, let's move on to the next topic. We are definitely going to get fired soon. DeAndre Ayton worked out for the Suns and said he will only work out for the Suns, and he has straight up said that he will be the #1 pick in the draft. This, usually players say they're the best player in the draft, they think they're the best player in the draft, but they usually don't come out and say they're going to be the #1 pick. Are you surprised at how upfront Ayton was after his workout with the Suns?
I'm not surprised. I'm happy he's upfront about it. He's a terrific prospect. He has the size, he has the strength, he can shoot from the perimeter, he can play in the post. Needs to improve defensively. Went to college at Arizona. The Suns have the #1 pick. It seems like a perfect landing spot.
Well, this next topic is very close to me. You know I love Jay-Z and Beyonce. You know there is no couple more powerful than Jay-Z and Beyonce. The ultimate power couple, and we love power couples here on Jalen and Jacoby. This power couple is going on a tour this summer. The On the Run tour is back. The On the Run 2. They put out some promotional photos. In these promotional photos, you can see Beyonce holding twins. You can also see Jay-Z holding twins. Now, you assume that those twins were their twins in the photos. However, those were not their twins. They had stunt double twins for the promotional photos. Jalen Rose, I'm going to put you in a very tough spot. Soft move or boss move, having fake twins stand in for your real twins for promotional marketing photos of your tour.
That's easy. That's a boss move.
Oh, no, it's not.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, no,
you're
it's not.
Jay-Z, you're Beyonce, you're the royal couple. You're doing a photo shoot about your tour this summer. You think they're about to have their twins trying to sit still for hours at a time to try to take some stupid pictures? They're going to have some stunt doubles fill in. How about you answer the question?
Have stunt double
you
twins.
have twins.
That
you
is a
tell
soft
me
move.
how long you can get your twins to sit
Those twins
still.
are going to grow up one day and be like, y'all would you claim me? Like, who are you, Drake, not claiming babies now?
Still.
Like, come on. That's a soft move, Jalen Rose.
David,
Jalen,
look,
I love Jay-Z, I love Beyonce, but you have to call it the way you see it. Having stunt twins, having fake twins to take the place of your real twins, trying to fake the people, trying to deceive the public, that's always a soft move. And you know it's a soft move. You're saying it's a boss move because you support Jay-Z no matter what he does. I know you. Except for title. No one supports title.
Behind me, having a good time enjoying our program. David Jacoby, you have twins. How long would you be able to get them to sit still for some stupid promotional photos for your world tour?
The only way that I would let them be in that promotional tour and them actually sit still would be if they were both asleep. if they were both asleep. Jalen Rose, I want to know what the people behind you think about this. There is an announcement. There is news. Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise will return for a sequel. Top Gun 2 has been confirmed, which leads to this question, and this question only. Is Top Gun cultural?
I got to ask you guys a question. Is Top Gun cultural? Have you guys seen that movie with Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise? They like that movie. Have you seen it? Have you seen it? I'm talking to the brother. Have you seen it?
It's cultural.
Three
I think
of
it's
us
cultural.
here, none of us have seen it.
You've
So
never
I
seen
think
Top
it's
Gun?
cultural.
You've never seen Top Gun?
No, I never seen Top Gun.
Oh, my God. Learn something new every day. Top Gun, apparently, is
I only
cultural.
seen like 10
We'll be
movies
back
in my
next
life.
week on Monday.
And I watched them all
Jalen
100
Jacoby will
times.
return. Enjoy Game 4 of the NBA Finals. Hopefully not the last game of the NBA Finals.